Mark Reagan here. I'm a hypnotist and hypnotherapist living here currently in Denver, Colorado. And today I want to talk to you a little bit about the peak performance mindset. Peak performance mindset involves a few different kind of beliefs that all go together to really bring someone, whether you're that salesperson, it's your student taking the SAT, you're getting ready to take the bar exam, or you're an athlete, musician, actor, or whatever else. In the last video, I talked a little bit about stress. That's just one belief. If you believe that stress is going to hold you back, that it's really bad for you to experience it in that pressure situations are awful for you, then yeah, they're going to be. But if you believe that stress is something that's going to help you get to that level of performance, to get that competitive edge that you need to be at your best, then it will start being that way. Another belief for that peak performance would be confidence. Confidence is incredibly important. You don't want to be unconfident or going out not believing in yourself. A lot of people might tell you to be realistic. Well, if you look at being realistic when you sit down to take a test would be looking at that possibility that you fail. Or in a game, it could be that you lose, or even worse, maybe have a catastrophic injury. Those are all the things that you can come up when thinking about something realistically. Instead, you want to focus on those possibilities of success, those possibilities that you can believe in yourself. And sometimes we have this idea about confidence that we have to have successes before we can be confident. Well, when you look through history, a lot of people have done a lot of things that no one had ever done before. That includes the Wright brothers with their planes, the guy who broke the 4-minute mile, landing on the moon for the first time. All of those things no one had ever done before, so there's no way that those people, under that belief that you have to be successful first before you can be confident, would have ever succeeded. Confidence is something you can choose. You can choose to focus on the possibilities of the good outcomes of what's going to happen. And that is absolutely key along with this last part, and that's trusting yourself. A long time ago, a few years ago anyways, I was a salsa instructor here in the Denver metro area, and I taught students how to dance. The biggest thing I noticed between students who started learning very quickly versus those who maybe were lagging behind a little bit was how much they trusted in themselves and in their own body to take the steps and movements that they needed to. The basics of salsa dancing, it might, when you see somebody actually out dancing, it might look crazy, but the basics are actually very, very simple. But if those people, if they're up here in their head when they need to be trusting themselves, their body just wouldn't move the way that it needed to. However, if they stopped focusing on the steps, one of those things, if I started distracting them and started talking to them about just random things and kept having them continue learning, continue dancing, eventually their body would just kind of kick into gear and it would start moving on its own and doing it correctly. It's the same thing when you're performing, whether, again, it's that sales presentation, a big match, having to give a musical performance, or anything else where you need to perform at your best under pressure. If you're up here thinking about everything that's going on and judging yourself and worried about what the people in the audience are going to think, or everything else that's going on, you're crushing your own performance under just the weight of all that doesn't need to be there. Instead, if you start trusting yourself and going with the flow, everything will start to work and you'll start performing at that higher level. If you're an athlete, you'll start reacting to things more quickly, because if you're thinking up here and analyzing consciously everything that's going on, you're not reacting as fast as you would otherwise. Same thing for a speaker who has a good little bit of humor they throw into their speech that reacts with something that the crowd did. If you're always analyzing everything, well, that performance when you need it most just isn't going to happen. That analysis and looking at it from a more critical or judging perspective, it's still important during training and practice. Training and practice, of course, it's to get better and develop those skills, but it's really developing habits for your mind and body so that when you actually have to perform, all of that happens automatically and you can be in the moment, get in that zone of peak performance, and really do your best. So if you like this video, go ahead and click like or subscribe. And if you'd like more information, feel free to visit me online at markreagan.com.